Welcome to the AxeCast podcast. Conversations with interesting people from the world of Acadia athletics and more, talking about their lives, successes, and failures. And now let's join hosts Len, Holly, and Eric Cedarberg for the next 15 to 20 minutes as they dive into the life of today's guest.
On our AxeCast this week, a two-time women's basketball most valuable player in the U.S., AUS, is Paloma Anderson, who joins us from, are you in Phoenix these days?
Yeah, I'm back in Phoenix, PHX.
You are originally, of course, from Phoenix, Arizona. So let's do a little bit of history here, Paloma. Take us back probably 6-7 years ago. You arrive at Acadia University mid-season. What was the path that brought you to Wolfville, Nova Scotia?
Like, I've answered this question a million times.
I
should just start adding random stories to this. But I was in Arizona, and I just kind of had like a little bit of a rough start. Kind of was a hard head. Just kind of been in and out of different teams and played at a college in Arizona. Didn't work out, so then I went to a school in Iowa. That also didn't work out. And so I knew a guy who knew a couple connections in Canada, and, he was just kind of like, there's an opportunity for you, to go play. First it was St. X. And I thought going to Canada would be pretty cool. If I never got to go play pro, I could play 5 years of university basketball, because in Canada you get an extra year. So I was like, what the heck, go play, you go see a different country for free, why not? So then St. X didn't work out. That was around that time where they thought they had a superstar team and they won a couple games, and they were like, you know what, we're not going to bring you in. Or they were like, we'll bring you in, but you have to sit out the year. And to me, I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm not going to waste my time sitting out the year. I want to play right away. So I kind of just waited, and then Bev Greenlaw, kind of took a shot on a hard-headed kid. He kind of like asked, would you like to come to Wolfville? Acadia's looking for a player, to kind of come in and, kind of like be a dominant player, like make a spark. And so I was just like, yeah, let's go for it. And it's kind of funny just how like everything worked out. But yeah, I took a shot at going to a little small old Wolfville, and I don't know, ended up staying there all my years and graduating from there. So I thought that was pretty interesting how I got there, and pretty interesting how it all turned out.
So you walk through the doors right after Christmas to play the second half of the season, and like the culture shock, the fact that you're in university, how did you adjust, and was it a tough adjustment, to a new way of life?
I don't think so. I mean, I always kind of like joked around, like if I would have known what Wolfville was on paper, or like would have saw what the town was on paper, I definitely probably would have just said, I'm good, I'm going to wait for a bigger city school to pick me up. But because I kind of just went in with an open mind and was like, I have no idea what this place looks like, I'm just going to go check it out. And then kind of like get in there. I mean, it wasn't like that much of a culture shock. Like, it's very similar to like a country, and I mean like the kind of like the rural parts of the U.S. Like when I was in Iowa, it was very similar to Wolfville. But I thought the difference there than in Phoenix was like the family orientedness, or like how athletes could be so involved with the community, and like like kids and families genuinely care about you as an athlete, not just because I don't know, like you're just a player at the school. And I thought that was a different shift, which was something I always kind of like yearned for, like, that family orientedness, and never really got until I got there. So I think it was an easy adjustment. I know I would say I was a big personality going into that sort of atmosphere, but I think you guys welcomed me really well. And I feel like I let you guys, into sort of like my style of life really well, and it just kind of just worked out. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes a lot of sense in my head.
Well, it's funny you're talking about, how the small school can care for people the way, you experienced at Acadia, but really it was a little bit reciprocal in terms of, in Acadia and in its athletic programs has always, one of the major pillars, as you know, is being in the community. And to me, you took that even a step further because you really got engaged with the community. Paloma, you would show up at gymnasiums and uninvited to help minor youth basketball players. Just so you really embraced the whole idea of what Acadia was about and what community was about.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really have that opportunity when I was playing here in Arizona. Like when I first started out playing, I don't know why I kind of was that type of person. I think when I first got there and it just, that kind of nurturing side really came out. I don't really know how to explain it, because I wasn't like that when I was in Arizona. But then it's just something about being the community and being around the kids. And I'm not comparing myself to any other players, but I'm sure there's a lot of other players in different, parts of Canada, US that do that. But I just kind of felt that's what kind of drew me in, children, teaching them basketball, all of that it was second nature to me. It wasn't even, I'm doing this because I want to, be a part of the community sort of thing. It was just me being me. I just want to be involved with the kids. And I think, especially with our team, when a lot of the players would, go to these games and, they would help out at little camps as well. I think, parents were just kind of wow, these kids are actually taking their time to come hang out with these little kids who are someday going to be in their position. And they really appreciated it. And so I don't know, to us, it just felt like the right thing to do.
You certainly proved your worth on the court. I mean, you had a great individual career, and of course, not only individual awards and recognition, but also, the team success, winning a championship. You were MVP in 2016, 2018. Just talk about, your reflections on playing basketball at Acadia and how the sport helped you grow.
Well, I think right off the bat, it was, the girls that I got to surround myself with. Because before, I got to play with, some of my best friends that I played with growing up, and it never really clicked on the court. And then I go to, this random small town in Canada, Nova Scotia, and I kind of clicked with these girls. And I'm not saying it was an easy road, because it wasn't. We still joke about stuff like that now if we catch up, but it kind of meshed. We all kind of we're on the same page. We're tired of being the losers. That's no disrespect. That's what Acadia was. They had their one championship, in 2011. They had a dynamite team. But then when you look at the history of it, it's they were always the bottom of the barrel. So I think when we when I came in and then with the group, we all kind of and then adding Coach Harvey to the mix, it was just kind of we all had this idea of we don't want to be the bottom of the barrel. We want to be number one. And I think, outside people, they probably laughed at us, yeah, right, you're not going to be there. But then with the group of people that we were, we just turned the tables, it all clicked. I have never played on, and I never will, I don't think, but I never played on a team where there was legit no drama. There was no pettiness. Everyone's on the same page. There was no drama about PT. There was no drama about just things that usually happen on, teams that really mess up the team dynamic and chemistry. There was none of that. Everyone just played their part, and it got better every year.
So it wasn't a last dance, was it?
No, it was, I mean, the first year, it was there was, a couple seeds that just didn't fit. Then the middle year was okay, we had a rocky start, but then you started to mold that team. And then the last year, it was just kind of everyone got to that page where they were just no, we're winning this year. And, outside people would be you guys are being cocky, you guys are being this, but to the rest of us, to us, we were just kind of no, we deserve this. We work hard, we stay in the summers, we work out together. And I think we're going to take, we didn't say we think, we knew we were taking it that year. That was just the mentality and the motto. But I don't know, it's my only regret playing on Acadia was not helping them get a national title. And I think if we had one more year together, we probably would have got a medal. But maybe, I don't know. But that's my only regret, like going through that school and not being able to take home a national title.
Have you stayed very connected with the team being down in Phoenix, and wherever you've been? Did you follow them the last year? Did you know that you were selected as a top 100 women's basketball player in the youth sport?
Coach is pretty good at like keeping up with his players and just kind of, keeping us updated and stuff. I know I have the newsletters on emails and stuff. I don't have social media, so it's kind of hard to like stay connected, but I do definitely go out of my way to like still watch the game and, check the stats and stuff, see who's up there, what players are going to dominate the league. And of course, I'm always going to root for Acadia. I got my players in my mind right now who I'm just like, yeah, they're going to run the show. But I wasn't expecting that at all. I know when he sent me a message, it kind of like, oh no, my heart kind of like sunk. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. It was like nice to know that I'm still getting recognized, even though a couple of years after I'm not playing anymore. But yeah, it was a humbling, like another humbling experience with you guys. I don't know, it was nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you amassed 1,446 points in 3.5 years. And it's interesting because sometimes, you look at a number like that and you hold a whole bunch of Acadia scoring records. And I think just imagine if Paloma had played a 5th season or played that extra season and a half, where that record would be. Do individual accolades, like, what does that mean to you?
Okay, like, honestly, every year I set a goal for myself. And I hope that, the top players or like players in general are doing that exact same thing, because I don't think you're cocky if you set yourself to a certain expectation. And so I remember the first year when I played with Bev, I was like, I remember I had Courtney Thompson, she got the MVP, and I kind of sat there and I thought to myself, I'm gonna get the MVP next year. And so in my head, I was like, I tried to play like that every game. I tried to train like that every game. I thought about that. I was not obsessed with it, but I was like, I'm gonna be the MVP next year. And some people, they saw that as cocky. That year came, I helped our team, get a solid record. We got the playoffs. I got my MVP. The third year was the same thing. I was like, we're gonna win the championship, and I'm gonna be a 2-time MVP. And we didn't get that, and I didn't get the MVP. And I remember sitting there, and I was a little sad. Not trying to be selfish or anything, but I was just like, dang, like I thought I worked really hard. My numbers were actually really good that year too. Like we didn't win a lot of games, and it was just not my year, And I kind of like sat there and was like, dang, like am I not a good player or whatever, like just internal. I was always my biggest critic. Like, coach, the country, whoever, they couldn't really tell me anything negative because it was always me who did it the worst. So then that last final year, my goal was I'm gonna help lead us to, our championship. We're gonna win that championship. I am gonna be that 2-time MVP, and I'm gonna be a National Player of the Year. Like that was my goal. So that's how I played. That's just kind of like how I thought. And I don't think I went around like boasting or anything. I feel like the older I got, I kind of went away from that, but I was more internally like, I'm going to be that. That's what I want to be. I'm going to do what I can to help my team get to those wins, do whatever we have to do, and I'm going to get those things. And so, yeah, the personal accolades were important to me because it was like more of like a personal thing, like not to like showboat or anything. It was more so me. Like I just wanted to be all those things. And then I think the second year I didn't get those awards, my mind shifted and was like, okay, like, yes, you want these personal awards, but you need your team. Like, like I'm not saying I wasn't team oriented or anything, but I realized in that moment, it doesn't matter how good your stats are, your team needs to win. So then the last year, I was more so, if I don't get it, I still want to think like that. I still want to play like that. I still want to help our team get it. So if we would have got the championship and I wouldn't have got those awards, I wouldn't have cared because at the end of the day, I still want a championship with my team.
Yeah, as much as there's no I in the word team, there is a lot of I that has to be dealt with, right? You got to have your personal goals. If you don't, where's the team going to go without its players having their personal goals, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes like like, players and coaches and people around you, they always try to take out that I. There's no I. So like if you're being internally like confident about it, you're not out being cocky, stupid or whatever about it. You're allowed to have those goals. You're allowed to set yourself on those certain expectations. Like when I talk to little kids, I tell them, write down on a board in your journal what you want to be. You're not cocky if you say you want to be an MVP, you want to go to the league. That doesn't make the best players in the league right now, NBA, WNBA, NBA, MLB, read all their stories. They all said, I was going here. I'm going to be this. That don't make them cocky.
Nope.
Set your expectations and be those expectations. Whether that's in academics, whether that's on the court, on the field, whether that's being a good father, a good coach, a good mom, it don't matter. Set those expectations. That'll make you cocky. I'm all for it. And that's just kind of like how I thought when I was on the court.
Women's basketball at Acadia has had tremendous growth in the last 10 years. It started probably around 2011, 2012 with a championship with Lindsay Harris and with Abby and Emma Dunker, and some great success there. And then, of course, through the mid-2000s, you're arriving around 2014, 2015, and things just take off for the women's basketball. When I say the growth of it, success, and the fan support, did you feel like you were part of something that was really special?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, I never played for a team with the group of girls that I got to play with. And then you had, Coach Harvey, and I can only speak for him. I don't personally know any of the other coaches, but aside from being like the awesome dad that he was when we got to see him around his kids and his family, he was a dope coach. He really cared about the growth of the individual. He cared about the growth of the program, the growth of himself, the growth of the weight room. Like he cared about what can each of these things do to help us grow as individuals, help us grow as athletes, help us grow in our community. And I think when you have, a group of young women who were receptive to that, they had an open mind to that, and you had Len Harvey grew every single year. Backtracking back to the question before, yes, I had my personal goals, but I would not have got those personal goals without my team and without him. Because they set you up for success as well. You can have your expectations, but they're going to open those doors for you as well. So by having him as a coach and having the group of girls, that we had, I got to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and they got to achieve what they wanted to achieve. But it felt like a special thing because he just genuinely cared about the success and the growth of us as young women and us as athletes. It don't matter if you got 40 minutes of playing time or you got 3 seconds of playing time. He cared about you. And, people are going to have different, perspectives or whatever. But I felt like genuinely he does care about the program and the people that he's around. And without a coach like that and a group of girls in a community, it's going to be hard to feel like it's something special. You know what I mean?
It was very special. It was very special. And you know what? Before Eric starts to throw some high heaters at you here in a second, I will tell you this. You had great success. You grew as a person. Acadia embraced you. You embraced Acadia. You embraced the community. And I think it's safe to say that your name will be around for many, many, many decades to come when people talk about women's basketball. And, for me as a fan, it was always a pleasure to come in and watch the team. But certainly you were one of the most exciting women's basketball players that we've seen in our conference. So it was always fun to watch you. And now after doing that, I'm going to chuck it over to Eric, who's just going to fire some heaters at you here, Paloma.
And now it's time for Eric's Cut to the Chase 5 questions.
Terrible. You know what? And that comment that Len, honestly, you weren't a huge basketball guy until she showed up. I don't remember seeing Len at a lot of games. And then all of a sudden he's showing up to watch Paloma. Now you're showing up to watch Haley. Now you know what? I just want to say one thing is you've done. It started in 2011. We'll give credit for Emma and Lindsay that started this thing rolling, and you got it rolling to the point now where it's crazy to show up at a game where you got 900 people packed in the gym at 6:00 at night. I love it.
Hey, we're gonna get that medal, man. It's gonna come. Acadia's gonna get their medal.
What am I going to throw at you here? Well, the first one, I like this question a lot because it was a good one with Bauer, and I'm kind of curious. I don't want to bring any tears to you here or anything, but what are 3 words you hope people describe yourself?
3 words?
3 words to describe Paloma that you hope people use to describe you.
Coach Harvard's probably going to laugh at this. Unpredictable. I think, passionate would be a word. And very given, genuinely given, I think would be the 3 words that people would describe me as.
Who the hell started up a lawnmower in my backyard? Better the most important question. Let's throw another one at you. What would you yourself would like to most improve in yourself? What's something that you want to improve in yourself? I got a lot of freaking thoughtful questions here, don't I? It's like, whoa, heavy questions.
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded. It's kind of funny that you even asked that because, some of my best years, I think, was in university because I was always trying to improve on something because it was all physical. I got to physically do these things.
Right.
And now that I'm a little older, I'm not playing basketball. I think about that question, like, what can I improve in? And I think what I've gotten to is I literally just want to become a good person, not for religious reasons, not because you have to be that, but like genuinely, I just want to improve on being a genuine good person for everyone and anyone around me. I think there's a lot of people out there that want to be that, but they don't know how to do that because we live in a fast lifestyle. There's so many different things in society and people forget how to be a genuine good person just for the greater good. And I think that's, if I die tomorrow, I want to go out being a good person.
Well, that's one thing you didn't say about yourself in 3 words. I didn't catch the last one, but I would have said kind. I think of you as a kind-hearted person. Behind all those tattoos. Here's one for you. What's the most embarrassed you've ever been in life? What's the most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassed.
Most embarrassed.
She embarrassed a lot of people on the court, I can tell you that. The opposing team.
A couple of broken ankles.
No, this one time we were playing in St. Mary's, and we were playing against a team from Quebec. And you know how St. Mary's floors are just so humid and slippery. Yeah. This girl crossed me and I fell, and like I just kind of like laid on the floor and like laughed. And so like I got up and like shook her hand and was like, "Nice crossover, man. You really got me." But I think I did like this one time, like this low light, everybody has highlights. I did like this low light, and it was just like a collage of like all the times I got blocked. It was by just random players. And I remember we were playing against PEI, and it was kind of like a, attention game, whatever. And I obviously kind of too quick, going down for my fast break. And it was funny because you could hear the commentator in the background. So I crossed this one girl, boom. The commentator goes, "Ooh," like he's like, "Dang, like she just crossed." So, I try to go up with a reverse, like right-handed layup on the left side. Here comes Dos Santos coming out of nowhere. Smack! She smacks the ball to the wall. I was like, and then like the commentator's like, "Oh my goodness!" It was like a nice crossover, but it's like she sent the ball to the wall, and you see me on camera, like I kind of like pause. I give her a high five, like, "Damn, you got me." But that was pretty embarrassing. It was kind of funny though, but yeah, I guess that would be the most embarrassing.
Okay, last one. You're on a desert island. What album are you going to bring to the desert island with you? What
album? Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm trying to think of.
That'd be hard for you because you have like a wide variety of music you listen to. I was just like, remember warm-ups, like, whose music is this?
It's mine. Chanel specifically used to hate when I used to have the aux plug. Like, Paloma, we're taking this off. You know, honestly, I don't listen to albums, but like I listen more so playlists. So like, say on Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with and I'm probably gonna have to go with like a '90s R&B hip hop playlist.
Okay, that's what I figured. I figured it'd be something different.
Yeah, definitely like the old school side of things. The new school stuff I just don't listen to. It's just not for me. Not too much. Yeah.
Right on. Hey, listen, you know what? This has been a lot of fun, and it's been great hearing from you, and great to see things are going well in Phoenix. And when the world gets back to whatever our new normal is going to be, we certainly hope Paloma will make an appearance in Wolfville and I get a chance to see you again.
Yeah, I definitely have thought about, making a trip down when season comes back up and catch a game, live. But definitely want to see Haley play before she leaves, and Jada play in like the new mix. Yeah, I'm like super excited about like seeing the stats on that team, like just seeing how coach continues to coach. It's definitely something that I still want to be a part of and get to watch live again.
Right on, Paloma. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, for having
Paloma.
me.